Hi, I'm Jackie Tantillo, and this is Should Have Listened to My Mother. One of the reasons that I reached out to this week's guest is because he submitted an essay to the weekly New York Times column, Modern Love. It's one of my favorite weekly reads where writers submit essays that are emotional, tender, often filled with raw emotions about relationships. As Daniel Jones and Maya Lee of the New York Times wrote, love may be universal, but individual experiences can differ immensely and be informed by factors including race, socioeconomic status, gender, disability status, nationality, sexuality, age, religion, and culture. For many, finding and loving your partner is easy. For others, it has the potential to be life-threatening. So I'd like to introduce my guest. I'm very excited to have Chisom Peter Job with me here on Should Have Listened to My Mother. Hello, Chisom.
Hello, Jackie. Thank you for having me.
As I mentioned in my intro, you submitted an essay to Modern Love, and it was published March 13th, 2022. It's entitled, My Father Used Google to Ease My Ailing Heart, the health scare that led to a revelatory moment. You were diagnosed with a heart condition at 17 years old, and now you're a journalist. I'm glad you're here to share your story. So please, let's start off with your mom's name.
Okay, my mom's name is Gift Peter Job. Peter is my dad's name, and Job is family's name. My mom decided to go with my dad's name and family's name.
So gift as in a present.
Yes.
You wrote this beautiful piece, and what made you put this story in writing?
Okay, so the first time I got my diagnosis was in 2020. The lockdown, I was out of school, basically learning remotely. And after that, in 2021, last year, I spent 2 months in the hospital from February, March, April, if I'm not mistaken. I spent months in the hospital. After that, I decided to write about everything. I'm a journalist, so I write, and I decided to put it into paper. Okay, so I had submitted to the Modern Love column the year before, 2020. So I decided to submit again after my friend told me to in 2021. So now it's wanting to write a story. It's wanting to write a personal essay where you are vulnerable in. And it's another thing to publish it, to have it get published where thousands of people are going to read it. I had no hopes of it getting accepted by the Times, actually. I just said, okay, let me try my luck. So I submitted it. I waited for a while. After 2 months, October, November, I didn't hear back. I said, oh, probably this isn't going to work. But then I know the Times always reply. They always respond to every Modern Love essay. So I kept that at the back of my mind and totally forgot about it. A part of me was expecting it not to get accepted because, one, I was very vulnerable in the essay. You've read it, you saw everything in it. I was very vulnerable. That was my first time being that vulnerable. So I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted people to read it. But then when I got the email saying the essay was nice, from Daniel Jones, the editor, saying the essay was nice and he loved it and he would love to publish it, I was happy too. And I wanted the story to get published. So it was between not wanting to get published and wanting to get published. But again, I'm happy that it did get published because since then I've received emails from parents, from other young people living with heart conditions, telling me how the essay helped them, how it made them feel seen. Because generally, people that are young people like me, do not we are not seen as people who have heart conditions. In the essay I wrote about it, when you visit a cardiologist, for example, the first thing we are told is, oh, you are so young for this to be happening to you. You are so young for this to be happening to you. Are you sure you're okay? What is wrong with you? Maybe this is not what's happening, and other things like that. But since the essay got published, I've had young people telling me I made them feel seen, telling me the essay was okay, and parents too, telling me how they love my mom and want to be friends with her.
Oh my God. Well, so before we go any further, and I guess I should have done this in the very beginning of the conversation, Chisom is joining me from West Africa, and we're speaking via Zoom. Now that that information is even out there, there are two main issues of what your piece is about. So how about if you explain basically what the two elements are, your health?
Okay, yes. My health and coming out to my mom and the love she showed me. Okay, firstly, my health. I mentioned this earlier. I got diagnosed of coronary heart disease in 2020. After the diagnosis, I had to move back home with my parents. I was in school. I had to move back home with my parents. My second year, I was meant to graduate a few months ago. I had to move back home with my parents. After moving back in, everything wasn't so great. Moving in is never so easy. But after moving in, I think I noticed how my parents were always there for me. When I tell people how much my parents mean to me, it's like, oh, why are you talking about this? Why are you mentioning this? But I do not know how not to talk about it. I do not know how not to talk about them because they are always there every day, all the time. From the moment I got diagnosed and I moved back in, my parents were always there for me. My dad coming into my room every night, telling me I love you. My mom praying, telling me she loves me too. Always being there for me, taking time off work. After my diagnosis, she took time off work, staying with me, massaging my chest, doing everything she could. At a point as a teenager, it got annoying because, okay, I can take care of myself. I wanted to be an adult so fast. But after a few weeks of them doing that, I realized that they are the only ones I have. I'm the only one they have. And I can't stop them from doing that for me. And I also enjoy when they do that. And I made sure after that, I began to tell them, oh, I love you too. I love you. I love that you take care of me. I love that you're always there for me. Especially my mom. My dad started traveling more. He's an importer. He imports goods. So he started traveling more. So I was spending more time with my mom. I made sure to tell her, I love you. Thank you for taking care of me. And every time I do that, she would remind me, you don't need to thank me. That's why I'm your mom. But then I realized that, oh, okay, there are people that their mothers or their parents who wouldn't do this thing you're doing for me. So I have to thank you. I should say, you're my son. I can't not do this for you. Which is also why I came out to her too. I came out to her in August of 2020 after hearing talks about my sexuality from my cousins, after people, my cousins and other people, started talking about how I'm an only child, I have a chronic illness, and how it might kill me. They said things like this, and it was always annoying because I'm still here. Why are you talking about death? Why are you talking about me dying or anything? I'm still alive. It was depressing at a point. But I said, okay, I wasn't going to let this get in the way of my happiness. I wasn't going to let this thing people are talking about annoy me. That was when I decided to come out to my mom. I started working at an LGBTQ organization in the UK. The organization is located in the UK. I started working with them as a writer and editor. And I realized that, okay, writing these stories too, definitely my mom is going to come across it. What if she does? I could easily tell her I'm a writer, I'm a journalist. That's what I do. But then that, and coupled with the fact that my cousins were talking about it and knowing how She caught me once. She caught me twice watching porn while growing up as a child, while growing up as an adolescent rather, because I was confused with my sexuality. I said to tell her, but it was scary too because I'm a Nigerian. While I didn't grow up in Nigeria, I have Nigerian parents who are very much Nigerian. So knowing that back then, I knew the laws in place in Nigeria, the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act, the Sharia laws in the north of the country. I realized that, okay, this could be dangerous telling my mom, because what if she doesn't accept me? Where would I go to? What would I do? These were the questions I asked myself. And at the end, I told myself, okay, she might not do anything. I'm her son. I'm her child. But I've read stories of parents disowning their children, even no matter how many children they have, even if it's their only child, they disown them. So it was scary. But when I told her, okay, mom, okay, that was when she came back from work. I saw she was in a good mood. I said to meet her, I told her. The first thing she did was look at me. She didn't say anything at first. She was quiet. The room was quiet. Then she held my hands and she said, I know, I've always known and I always loved. It was shocking and I was happy. I had conflicting emotions then because, okay, this was so easy. But she wanted to understand. I remember her telling me, explain to me more. She told me, I'm an old woman. Let me understand where you're coming from. Let me understand you very well. So I sent documents to her from the PLFAG. I can't remember the parents of, I can't remember the full meaning, but PLFAG, I sent her documents from the organization. She went through them and things has been great since then.
So can you, you make it sound so easy, right? All these years you've been having this inner conversation about your sexuality and being afraid to tell anyone.
Yeah.
But in the piece that you wrote, your cousins, they all knew, or different relatives already knew and were wondering why you were waiting so long to come out to your parents. Is that correct?
Okay. I had only one cousin who knew, but from the piece mentioned how one of my cousins asked, are you gay? She had no idea. There's this thing where people ask the question, either when they are trying to mock you, or they're just or they have an idea and they want to know. This cousin, she had no idea. Not that I'm sure of, she had no idea. So she just asked, I think she just asked that question to know what my reaction would be, to hear from me. Because most people refer to people as gay from where I'm coming from, when they want to mock them, when they want to make jest of them. Because when she said it, all eyes were on me. I could feel other extended family members who were there laugh too. But at that moment, I asked myself, I didn't write this in the piece, I asked myself, should I let what these people think affect me? Because one, yes, they are my family, but they are my extended family. They're not my immediate family. So should I let what they think affect me? And I didn't mention this in the piece because I had written it already, but I recently came out to my dad too. That was in February. I came out to my dad in February of this year, 2022. I came out to him and it went well too. It went better than I expected. So I think knowing how much my parents care about me and knowing who they are helped me in coming out to them, and it has helped me in being open with them.
Not everybody is that lucky to have a loving mom and dad like you do, right? As hard as it was for you, the aftermath, I can just imagine you just must collapse emotionally and physically, the relief, just being able to come out and say it. And yet your mom was right there for you. She was right by your side.
Yes. It was great. Sometimes I think about it and I'm shocked. I ask myself, okay, is this it? Because since I came out, I think our relationship got better. My mom always wants to know, who are you dating? My ex, when I was in a relationship last year, I sent her a picture of I and my ex. And she was very happy. She was like, oh, is he the one? The way we broke up, I told her we are no longer together. And she told me, don't worry, you'll find the one. So these are the things I had no idea was possible on my end. I had no idea, okay, I would have a mom who I would talk to about boys, about people I'm in a relationship with, about people I love, about my exes. Before coming out to her, if I wanted to talk about things like that, I would change the pronouns. Maybe I would say, I broke up with my girlfriend. Meanwhile, I'm talking about a boy. But since then, it's like, oh, this is so easy. This is so easy. And she wants to know more. She always wants to know more. Even when I tell her, Mom, no, this isn't your business. She laughs. She rolls her eyes at me. She says, no, it's my business. I want to know. Tell me everything about your love life. Tell me everything that's going on with you.
Well, she wants you to be happy, right? That's what most moms want their children. I have 2 boys. We just want them to be happy and to be in the relationship that will help them grow and fulfill their life and keep moving forward and expanding your perspective. So your mom, she is a gift. That's her name, right?
Yes, her name is Gift. She is a gift.
She is a gift, indeed. If it could only be that easy, and I know it took you many years to open up to them, but as you said, she had an idea or she knew, and she's still by your side, which is what any son or daughter, regardless of sexual orientation, identity, or behavior, would hope, the responses they would hope to get from their parents, right?
Yes.
You are a journalist.
Yes, I am.
We explain a little bit about your background and the award that you were nominated for recently.
Yes. I'm a culture and technology journalist. I currently freelance, and I'm also the editor-in-chief of an LGBTQ organization that helps asylum seekers in the UK. We also run a publication. So the work I do is basically telling the stories of the LGBTQ community in Nigeria and in Africa in general. It's daunting. It's nice. It's nice telling these stories because we are the only ones who can tell our stories ourselves. It's daunting too because telling these stories sometimes puts one in danger, not knowing who is reading your story, not knowing where the story is taking you to. Sometimes one can receive hate mails. I know I have received one before. I've received multiple actually before. Hate mails when you tell a story. People wanting to know who your sources are, but you can't tell them. You can't do anything about that. You just leave them. Just delete those emails because you're protecting yourself. You're protecting your sources. It's part of the job. And I'm not complaining. I'm grateful for that. So the award I was nominated for, the Future Awards Africa, I think Forbes called it one of the biggest awards out of Africa for young people. I was nominated in the category of journalism. While I didn't win, it was great knowing that, oh, my work spoke for itself as a queer person living in Nigeria of all places, who is out of the closet, knowing that the stories I tell, the stories of Black queer people, the stories of queer people I tell has its own voice, to go places. It just makes me happy.
It makes the future brighter for so many more.
Yes, it does.
Could you do me a favor?
Yes, it does.
And again, I don't want to rush you. I could talk to you forever, but you're on a schedule, and I'm curious, what is a message you want to say to your mom? What's something you could share with all of us that you would say to your mom if she was here with us?
Okay. The message I would say to my mom is, you are a rock star. You are a gift to me. And I love you very much. I mean, words can't describe how much I love you and how much you mean to me, because everything I do, I do it for you. I do it because you are always there for me and you always support me. You always tell me, shoot for the stars.
My guest is Chisom Peter Job, joining us from West Africa. And we're speaking about his New York Times Modern Love piece entitled, "My Father Used Google to Ease My Ailing Heart, but it was your mom and your dad that helped you heal that heart condition that you have as well." And they still do. And you and many, 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 many more that are trying to express their freedom and be open about their sexuality. So I thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All the best, and give your mom a hug for me, okay? She's an inspiration.
Okay, I will. Thank you.